Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule live chat video. What is this? AMA with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello. What's up, guys?
I'm Ryan T. Husk, and Cirroc, looks like your beard's a little thicker than usual. Is that
I'm growing it out. Yeah.
Nice.
Until the lockdown ends, at least.
Whoa, is that your protest? Is that like
that's my protest? like when the football players reach the playoffs and they just, they're all
hockey, yeah.
Hockey too.
Right. You're right. Yeah, so you're saying until this coronavirus ends, this is my solidarity with my chin.
Exactly. We're just going to protest.
Until this coronavirus ends, this is my solidarity with my chin. Cool.
Yep. The echo version, I agree with both of you.
So, great. How's everybody doing? You guys can hear us okay and see us okay, right? We got to do that check every time just to be sure. Taurus says, quarantine beard. Hello, Taurus.
Exactly, the quarantine beard.
Uh-oh, troubles a brewing. Mr. Peter Karuba from San Francisco says hello to both of us, I think.
Peter.
By the way, Peter's out in San Francisco, and we want to give a shout out to San Francisco because they are a city that is so condensed and so dense that it's like 5 miles by 6 miles, super dense like New York, but they've somehow managed to really, really lock it down. Their mayor acted quickly with this coronavirus thing, and they're seeing way less cases and deaths than other major cities, including ours, Los Angeles. So shout out to San Francisco government and citizens for really doing a great job. I thought they were not fair as well.
Yeah, and of course, Ryan, you're a little bit more particular for the Bay Area than.
That's true. I do have a magnifying glass on them because I'm from the Bay Area. That's true. It's a good point.
Little disclosure there.
John Brewer says hello to both of us. We like
What's
Mr.
up,
John D. Peter says it's killing me. Okay, cool. So audio visual, good from here, says Redacted. Welcome back, Redacted. Joe Allen Music. Demas Alva said, got to show up early to get us this time. Nagayo Kramers, that's an interesting name. With a picture of Baby Elrond.
Baby Elrond, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Let's see. Rose Kirby from the UK, always joining us. Hello, Rose Kirby.
What's up?
We started a little earlier this time for our UK and European viewers. So UK representing Eve England from Wales.
Anybody else doing something for the quarantine, like this beard here?
Oh, that's a good question.
Any lifestyle changes specifically for the quarantine?
Cat R. King says Brills. Welcome back, Cat. Awesome to see you. We'll see you a little later today. I'll tell you what I'm doing.
What's that?
Or what I'm not doing so far is getting my hair cut. So it's getting a little. I'm starting to look like a Vorta, actually.
Right? Yes, like the Vorta. Yes, absolutely.
Hey guys, do you think my hair is starting to look like Eris? Remember Eris, the Vorta, the one that we just saw in the final episode of season 2? Eris, the Jem'Hadar, or Weyoun would be.
Or Weyoun, yeah. Who doesn't like Weyoun?
But yeah, if you guys are doing other things, let us know. Let's see. Actually, we are getting some. Christine says she moved an appointment to be here today. Ho. Oh, that's a animated series image she's got there with Kirk and Uhura. Yeah. Patrick's showing us how it's done.
Oh, just doing push-ups, huh? Must be big now.
Nice.
Yeah. I gotta add the push-up game to the routine. Yeah, that's part of it too.
Vortan63 says, I'm still working in New York City. JR Poole says, eating a lot of salads.
Salads, huh? That's good. Keep those greens, get your immunity up. I've been actually taking vitamins too. I don't really normally take vitamins, but I started to take vitamin C and vitamin D3.
Right. Great for your immune system. Also, sleeping a lot, sleeping well, I should say. Getting enough sleep is good for your immune system. So is exercise. A lot of people are exercising. Patrick says, music to my ears. Ryan would be a great fourth. Thank you.
He got the look, man.
I got to work on the fake smile. Or wait, I only have his fake smile. I got to work on the real.
No, you don't have to work on that. You got that one. Great.
Mark says, how do we ask questions? Just like that.
Just like that.
Maybe preface it by saying question and then give it to us so it catches our attention a little bit better. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Paul.
Yoga in my Troy outfit.
Hey, Paul, also, we were wondering, I think it was last week, if we pronounced your last name Brullo or Brulo. Probably Brulo, right?
What is that icon image he has? He has a DS9. Is that inside the wormhole, or
Dude,
what's that in the background?
This is what that's a great question. Paul has been, you may have seen it, Paul has been designing or painting this huge, like, Deep Space Nine painting that's really cool. Putting it in our NoJ's. Oh, wait, I can't say it. It's a secret group. In our secret group for the patrons. And we're definitely, I'm not sure, Paul, let us know if it's done and ready to be shown yet, or if you still have a few finishing touches. But there's a lot to it. That's just like a little part of it.
Okay.
It's just like this big, expansive Deep Space Nine painting. It looks really
cool. Painting.
I believe so.
Yeah, I think people would like to see that. I know I would.
Yeah. Yes, and I paint everything. Second,
Brulo.
yes. Yeah.
She's like, paint everything. Yeah.
I like big books. Says, I keep wanting to say big butts. I can't say that right.
Especially you, because you're the Punisher.
Oh yeah, that's. I was like, what? Oh, okay, gotcha. Big puns. Remember? Big
it's
perm?
a really cool piece. Yeah, big perm.
What's up, big perm? I mean, big worm. Okay, cool. So
what do you do? You do like a self haircut type thing now? Or you just let it grow?
Well, I may end up just cutting my own hair. I used to cut my own hair, like with clippers. I would just get like the longest length of clippers for the top, and then like a whatever shorter length I had for the sides, and just
yourself.
Be like, fuck, who gives it, Yeah. But then when I started acting, it kind of would look weird that I have like a super crooked line around my head, and people are like, "What are you, 6? Go get a haircut, man. What do you do?" Because before I'm just trying to do it to keep myself cool in the summer, and I'm trying to keep it simple. But then after a while, you kind of got to actually.
You got to look the part if you're going in for these auditions.
Yeah. Dominion. Oh, here we go. That's a good one. Dominion regulation haircuts only. Flag or Falstaff says, shave it all off.
You ever shaved it all off, Ryan? No.
Nope. I used to, back in the day, I used to have like the long hair on the top and the back and sides super shaved, like palm tree look that everybody had back then. Yeah. Maybe I'll do that again someday. Would you guys like to see the palm tree look where like you have everything shaved? And I would not get
the
any
Bill
roles.
And Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Right.
Something around there, something like that.
I'd get no roles.
No roles.
Dead Purple shows up for us. Where'd she go? There she is. Dead Purple out in California's Central Valley. Thank you so much. Thank you for making Thursdays fun again.
Oh, that's awesome.
We were thinking, is it Monday? Is it Wednesday? What is today? I mean, it's all the same, right?
It is kind of all the same. I only know the days because of my daughter and having to do schooling and stuff with her. So that keeps me in track of the days. But they all feel the same except for the temperature, right?
Yeah, you have to. You have to keep track of your daughter. You're right. There's life still goes on there.
Yeah, she's like immune to it, as most children are. They just keep going, and the things that they miss the most are their friends at school. So
Right.
I feel for that.
I've often thought about what it would be like if I was like 7 or 10 or 12 and this happened, or even 16. And when you're like, all you want to do in high school is hang out with your friends all the time. I've often thought about that and been like, man, I don't know if I could handle just hanging out at home with the parents all the time.
Yeah, it's not easy. And it really, it puts a lot of relationships on strenuous mode because everybody's in each other's face all the time. So there's
Right.
no get out time.
All crime right now is down. All crime across the board is down because nobody's going out, nobody's doing everything except one, domestic violence.
Yeah.
And divorce rates are going to skyrocket too.
I don't know. Maybe baby rates will skyrocket. Who knows?
Maybe both.
I don't know.
And Jenna out in New York says, I'm just letting mine grow until I have it cut by a professional. Oh, by the way, Dead Purple, we wanted to give her a shout out for her cosplay. Check her out online. Just look up Dead Purple on Facebook and I think on Instagram and other things. You can see her in a really cool Deanna Troi outfit. Looks great. She's awesome with the kids at conventions. So if you need a cosplayer at your convention, contact her because she's the best I've seen.
Yeah.
Oh no, John D. Brewer.
You got a ponytail going on there, huh, John?
Immo from Germany joining us.
Immo, what's the deal?
Big shout out to Immo. He was definitely a trailblazer as far as our supporters were concerned. He was one of our first people that really gave us that big push, and he will forever be seventh rule royalty because of it.
Yeah. He is our official ambassador in Germany.
Right. Great job with the Bajorn icon, says Ryan. In Fifth Passenger, was that you punching the shit out of that guy in the evacuation scene? If so, did you realize there were 4 slots in the pod and only 3 in the hatch? Dick move. Yeah, that was me. I'll claim the dick move. And do you know who the guy was, by the way? Does anybody know who the actor was that I hit? And because what I was doing was I was with a character played by Doug Jones, who was kind of like a high royal character. And we were going into an escape pod. And this character was trying to get into our escape pod. And I said, there's no room. And then Doug Jones's character is like, well, maybe we could, fit him in. I said, no, no protocol must be followed. And then the actor, the character was like, no, let me in. And I punch him and knock him out. And then we go and I close the door because I'm a jerk, right? Does anybody know who that actor was that I knocked out?
I'm going to make a guess before the chat goes. I say Michael Chiklis.
I believed you. Cirroc, I believed you.
You thought I was going to get it.
You got me. I can hear him now. I could hear Aaron now going, he got you. Yes, Michael Chiklis. Yeah, good job. That was a good one.
There it is.
Suicides.
Movie.
Scorpion, obviously, yes. Suicides are up in a big way. Mental health will be a major problem now. All the statistics are going up there. Once this is over, I'm sure all the mental health and, psychological drugs are going to be going up in a big way. Lots of repercussions to all this that will be counted in the next couple of years, I'm sure.
Yeah. If anybody out there's like me, they can't wait for this thing to be over. Especially, I think it was a little bit different when the weather was bad and the rain was there.
Right.
So then you were like, all right, it's raining outside anyways and not much to go out for. But when it's like a sunny day like it is today, and all you can think of is like the beach or the park or somewhere that you want to go and hang out with friends.
Right. Or as they say in Sesame Street, sunny days sweeping the clouds away.
Yeah. Sunny
There it
days.
is. There it is.
There it is. I gave you a little sample.
But yeah, it's true. I remember thinking that. Why couldn't we have gotten this in like November? You know what I mean? So it's just like, winter, whatever, who cares? But now it's
hibernate.
Beautiful. Anyway, Kathy D says marriage counselors will have a field day after this is over. Great point.
Yeah.
Okay. Rose Kirby has a question. Would you watch all much films or all Star Wars, Cirroc?
All much films or all Star Wars?
Yeah, I think she's just asking just what you think about Star Wars films. Or maybe she's asking if you would watch all Trek films or all Star Wars films.
That's a good one. You know, I think I don't want to offend anybody, but I would say that as far as consistency, I feel the Star Trek films have been more consistent and given me more on a steady curve. And for Star Wars, I separate the first 3 Star Wars films from anything that came after. And there's not that much for me. It's 2 separate things. So.
Yeah, a lot of people share that view, where they see the original trilogy as it's kind of its own entity, and then they see the episodes 1 through 3 as kind of like, you know, love them or hate them. Most people like them less, I guess we'll put it that way. And then episodes 7 through 9, I'm not sure if everybody has really fully processed as to where they all kind of fit in. They're kind of like the Disney movies now, you know, because that's when Disney took over with Solo and Rogue One. I really liked Rogue One, by the way, and I thought Solo was cool. Also, some shout outs from some of our friends. Associate producer Rex A. Wood mentioned the divorce lawyers. Boy, we really started something there, didn't we?
Yeah. Rex Woods.
Joe Allen Music says if you're able to garden or yard work, that's been a helpful thing. That's really therapeutic. I was finally able to plant a few veggies a couple days ago. Taurus gets snow in New York. Tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, things like that. I usually grow way more, but physically I'm unable to really do much bending and squatting or shoveling or anything yet. So I had to minimize it this year. Yeah. Meredith, science teacher out in Massachusetts, says, "Hey, friends."
How's your ribs healing up?
You know, it still hurts a lot. I thought I'd be out of the woods by now. I mean, I don't have any experience with broken ribs, but come on, it's been 2.5 months, especially in the mornings. In the mornings, it's really bad. Can't really move. Still don't have a lot of mobility, especially in certain ways. So it's mostly in the back ribs, you know. So I'm getting to the point now where I'm a little bit more worried that it might be like a permanent thing, which would be just nobody wants permanent pain in their back and permanent issues. But it's only been 2.5 months, so obviously there's a lot of time to kind of work this out. So I'm optimistic. I mean, it's getting better, I guess, day by day, I think.
Is there a physiotherapy involved with that, or is it just...
Yeah, I went and saw a physical therapist, and they gave me exercises to do to start kind of, because certain exercises and movements and stuff like that helps to re-heal it, because it's not like a joint. You have to wait until the bones come back together, and then you can kind of start, because it's all the muscles and the soft tissue around it that's probably what's lingering forever, that's super damaged. But anyway, I haven't gone back to the hospital in the last month or two because of this coronavirus thing, or like a month. but I've got all the exercises printed out, so I just do it at home, so I can't actually go in person and see the physical therapist anymore, so I just do it at home. But I'm doing my best. I'm a healthy dude, so we'll see how it all goes.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking. Also, special guest to our show a few times, Mr. Mohammed Noor. What Trek planet would Jake Sisko least like to be assigned to interview someone on? Cirroc.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, you think about it. Everybody go check out Mohammed Noor on YouTube. He's got a new podcast kind of show where he talks about the science and biology of Star Trek, which is like the most fascinating thing in the world. He's also a professor and a dean of natural sciences at Duke University. So this guy knows of what he speaks. And he was recently hired by Star Trek to be a science consultant. So Mr. Dr. Mohammed Noor is a superstar amongst our ranks. And he asks you the tough questions, Cirroc. Check him out on YouTube.
Yeah. Now that we're getting into this Jem'Hadar, I think they would be the most difficult people to interview and try to get an answer out of.
That's true.
So I wouldn't want to really mess with them, and they seem to have no kind of mercy or reasoning skills. It's kind of real blunt and direct with them.
A lot of people giving us, saying some nice things about the ribs. I like Big Book says, I had a rib removed 2 years ago and it still hurts. Jesus, that sounds terrible.
Wow.
Sorry about that. Okay, and a lot of people, Jenna says, cracked ribs, slow healers. Okay, well, this all makes me feel better, though, to expect it to maybe take 6 months. As long as it gets better, eventually. That's the same attitude we have with the coronavirus. Humans can handle just about anything as long as we know it's temporary. Tell them to sit in their house indefinitely. They're like, no. Tell them, just sit in your house. It'll just be a few weeks, please. And they're like, oh, all right, I could do that. But deal with this pain. Yeah. We can deal with any pain as long as we know it's temporary.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks, John, Lieutenant Savick, Jenna, all of you guys. I really appreciate that. Carly Shibby in the house. Here's a question for you. Horace Scorpion says, what do y'all think of the Orville? I wish I could buy you time by saying, check out Horace Scorpion on YouTube. But I don't know.
Yeah. That's a good one. I don't think much of it right now because I don't have an opinion. I haven't watched any Orville, so I don't know anything about it to say one way or the other.
Actually, Horo Scorpion, that is a tough thing to say. That reminds me of something very important that I wanted to mention. And that is a big shout out to Eric the Smoke Moran. If you remember Eric the Smoke Moran, former professional wrestler who was on our show. He is doing an Orville fan series, like a fan film, but a fan series for the Orville, right? Called, oh dear, it's called like A Planetary Step. Now they're on a ship, and that ship is called the USS Eisenberg in honor of our buddy, Mr. Aaron Eisenberg. So they just tweeted that like a couple days ago, yesterday or the day before.
That's cool.
A first look at the USS Eisenberg, and it's this beautiful ship just going through, and it's a really nice tribute. So everybody go on Twitter, look for Eric the Smoke Moran, or do a search for A Planetary Step. Orville Nation also brought that to our attention. Orville Nation, awesome group of people. Big shout out to them. So check that out, guys. That's all for Aaron Eisenberg. We really appreciate that.
But just as a matter of feedback from people that I've talked to who do watch it, I've got nothing but really good feedback about Orville. So it must be doing something right because people are liking it and they like the blend of science and humor and what they're accomplishing over there.
Right. I mean, I've got I created an Orville Facebook group, which is now the biggest Orville group in the world, by the way. So I gotta say, I think Orville fans are a lot of fun. I mean, they can take a joke, so we're a little bit more lenient on letting people joke and have fun and razz each other. They're extraordinarily positive, up and down, except for when they're in a Star Trek group. Then they're kind of jerks sometimes. but in the Orville group itself, there are like no fights. They're fun. They're friendly. They like to ask every single day, when is season 3, which is, a little exhausting, but it's a legitimate question. It's a really good group of fans, and the Orville is what created that group. Seth MacFarlane is a really smart, really talented, funny guy. The show is very Star Trek in its writing. I mean, they have consultants and team members from the 90s Star Trek shows, from Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, and Voyager. And the episode writing is very reminiscent of the episodes that we're reviewing right now in Deep Space Nine. It's like 90s Star Trek, but with a little bit of humor,
Yeah, that's what I hear from everybody. So, I haven't heard anything really bad about it. People don't really say, "Oh God, I can't stand that show." Most people have really good things to say. Yeah,
that's a good point. Personally, I think what they set out to do, the specific thing that they set out to do, I think they achieved it. I think they achieved it very well, and they surpassed my expectations. And I expected it to be pretty good because Seth MacFarlane knows what he's doing. So personally, I'm proud of them. I'm very happy for them. I think they achieved what they set out to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Demas Alvis, thank you so much, Demas. We really appreciate that. He's got a great question for you. Cirroc, in the episode In the Cards, you and Aaron did an excellent job of showing a real fear of the Jem'Hadar and Weyoun. Cheers to great acting skills. Do you remember any of that with Jeffrey Combs and Aaron?
Yeah, I do. And I remember that Jeffrey Combs is such a great actor that it's easy to have fear instilled in you when you're opposite him in a performance. He is masterful at playing around with emotions and just having this air of intimidation. And when you have Jem'Hadar standing next to you, that even adds that adds more to the mix. So it was very easy to do. Those characters were menacing and really intimidating. But I do remember the In the Cards episode, one of my favorite and fun episodes. I think we haven't reviewed it yet. It's coming out.
Yeah. Demas Alvis, that's a great question. That's really cool. It just kind of brought me back, like thinking about that. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to reviewing that. Thank you very much, Demas. Also, here's somebody that has been showing us a lot of love recently. Miss Katie Carr. I believe she is a ballerina that posts, I don't know why, but I'm glad she does. She posts a ton of cool Star Trek pictures, just shots from like different episodes and stuff like that on various social media. Really cool. She says the Orville is like an optimistic Trek, nothing like dystopian Picard. Okay. That's kind of the argument that people have. And there's no right or wrong answer to it, but that's kind of what, 90s Star Trek was very optimistic, so was 60s Star Trek. And then it became dystopian. It's about dark discovery. It's about dark Picard. It's just a different style, a different way of telling the stories. And the Orville still hangs on to those themes and that feeling and that optimism and utopian feeling of the 90s Star Trek. That's
Yeah, well, and you just mentioned that, and I think that's a great point that Katie Carr is bringing up about the dystopian of it. And I wanted to say that the Next Generation did not have a dystopian feel to me. It felt more pleasant and optimistic, and the pastel brightness of it. It was really upbeat and cheerful.
Yeah.
To a
Even
degree.
just like the colors, you're right. The pastels, bright warp cores and things like that. And Deep Space Nine and Voyager were like that too. Deep Space Nine being the darkest of the three, of really all of them until this new stuff. But they still did it within the theme of the Federation is the light in a dark place.
Right.
Now the newer shows, Picard and Discovery, the Federation is not a light in a dark place, but certain characters are. Now it's more about a character being a light in what used to be, the light of the Federation or something like that, I think.
Yeah, and and that's interesting you said that as well, because we're covering now season 3 of this DS9, and one of the things that comes up repetitively in so far is a question of Starfleet's decision making, right? Why would Starfleet say this? Why would Starfleet do that? And just the questioning, and that has been consistent in Star Trek. What is now we're seeing with the Picard is not only is it being questioned, but it's actually been infiltrated, and it is acting, not in the best interest of the people.
We've got some love for the Orville being passed around. By the way, guys, it's okay to love the Orville and Star Trek. And the funny thing is that it seems like there's a rivalry going on, but I think like 80% of fans like both. And they're not like, it's like Coke and Pepsi or Nike and Reebok or whatever, or Clippers and Lakers. People feel like they have to pick one and hate the other, but it's like, no, you can like both. Star Wars and Star Trek, Orville and Star Trek.
I'm going to ask a very stupid question, and that's only because I'm ignorant about it. But what is the Orville actually referring to? Is that the name of the ship?
Correct. Yeah. It's
okay.
Like the Defiant of the Enterprise. Yeah.
And did they mention why they would call it the Orville? Is there any reference history?
No, but our guess is that it's probably less to do with the popcorn guy and more to do with the Wright brothers. Wilbur and Orville Wright were the first to fly an airplane in whatever it was, 1906 or 1907, something like that, out in Ohio. Okay. So that's what we surmise it's got to be, the Orville, right?
Okay, so not Redenbacher.
No, maybe, most likely. We don't know. We're guessing.
Most likely, if you have to choose, I'm going to go with the Wright brothers. Okay.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Kat R. King. Eric, she's giving the shout out to Eric Moran. He was on there with us during the show the other day. Awesome. Oh, Kat was in a show, a live stream yesterday or the day before with Orville Nation. So another shout out for Orville Nation. They're doing cool stuff. I really like them a lot. They do really fun stuff. And Kat was on there talking about Project Abaddon. So check that out, guys.
Sounds interesting. Project Abaddon.
I know we're behind on the comments here because people ask these good questions and we get stuck on them for a long time. But a lot of people are saying, Kai says, it's not a parody as much as it is a love letter from a comedic perspective. Totally. Absolutely. A lot of people think Orville is a parody of Star Trek, but it's absolutely not. It's just Seth MacFarlane's version of a love letter to Star Trek. That's exactly right. I agree.
I mean, if anybody does a show about space, it's going to always be compared to Star Trek. Right? Is that pretty much the standard?
You're right. That's a good point.
Right.
And people are loving the idea of the USS Eisenberg, Kathy D, Eve England.
That too, yeah.
Redacted. Oh, we got a doctor in the house. Not Bashir. I think Seventh Rule tweeted about it. I love it.
Okay.
She's out in New York City, probably going stir crazy.
She's got the play button icon next to her emoji.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means. So does Kat.
All YouTube stuff. Kat says, I love Ryan's groups. Thank you very much. Shout out to Ryan's groups.
Shout out to Ryan's groups and the largest Orville fan base.
We also have the biggest also have the biggest Discovery group and the biggest Picard group in the world. So luckily, you can like both of them because otherwise we'd have to choose either the Orville group or the Picard Discovery group. Also the biggest Lower Decks group. So stay tuned for that because that's going to be a fun one. That's the animated Star Trek by the producer of Rick and Morty.
So that is a go still, right?
Yeah, as far as I know. And they still have reconfirmed that it is coming out this year. This year,
and Section
for sure.
31 is still coming out?
That I don't know. Theoretically, yes. Not this year. Don't know when. But the ones this year are going to be Discovery. That's next. As soon as they can get it done, that's coming out. But obviously they've been slowed down by this coronavirus situation. And then probably in the fall, late 2020 will be Lower Decks after that.
I wonder if they have any of Discovery episodes in the can for the third season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're at least almost done. I mean, they're very, very, very close to being done. They were originally going to have season 3 premiere around now, but then they were slowed down, so they're probably delayed by maybe a couple months.
2 months. Yeah.
Horo Scorpion says, when Bortus became addicted to smoking was hilarious. That is one of the episodes in the Orville, and I agree. I think that was probably Bortus and Clyden, probably the funniest moment in all of the Orville for me was that. It's like really? So funny.
Is there an Orville episode that you would recommend if somebody said, okay, I want to try to get into it? What episode should I watch?
That one. And also there was one, what was it? It was at the mid-season. It was like a mid-season finale in season 2. I forgot what it's called, but it was a 2-parter.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically was reminiscent of Deep Space Nine. It felt like a Deep Space Nine episode. It almost felt like the Dominion or something. It was very similar to what you and I just watched for the beginning of season 3. And it was when they go to Isaac's homeworld, the robot guy, and visit his people. And I won't give you any spoilers about it, but those of you that have seen it know what I'm talking about. At the end of that first episode of the 2-parter, when it ends on the to be continued, you're just like, holy. The internet actually blew up for a minute for the Orville because of that moment. It was really cool.
Kat said I should see the one about gender.
Which one is that? That might be episode 3, season 1, episode 3. And by the way, our friend Mr. Rico E. Anderson was in that episode. He played what are those? I already forgot what those aliens are called. Bortus and Clyden. What are they called? Mocklin. He was the Mocklin doctor.
About a girl. That's what she's saying.
Okay, yeah, that is episode 3 then. About a girl. The second season really steps it up after having Good point. Yeah. Oh, that's a good point by Taurus. Jonathan Frakes directed a few of the episodes in the Orville too, so they're really bringing bringing a lot of Star Trek alumnus. And obviously, as you know, what's her name? Penny Gerald Johnson is in the Orville. She's one of the leads. And
my mama.
Yeah, yo mama. That's why when we did a retweet recently, there was something where we just called her, the Orville's doctor is Jake Sisko's mother-in-law. It's kind of fun there. Yeah, she's one of the leads. She's the chief medical officer. Really good, and she's always doing big things. I remember she was on 24, killing it. Oh, really? I've never saw it.
Oh, she was on 24 with Kiefer Sutherland. Is that? Yeah. She was, and she had a big role in that show.
Where'd it go? Melissa in the house.
My mama.
I think that was just a coincidence. I think she was just saying "Yo, Mama." She was just doing
she wasn't. Yeah,
a "Yo, Mama"
just
joke.
throwing it out there.
That's how she says
Yeah,
hello.
my mama. That's funny.
J.R. Poole says the same. Anne Marie reminds us, Jake's stepmom. She was the one that first said it, by the way. Really, like 90% of the things that I say and 90% of the things that we tweet or post is just shamelessly stolen from Anne Marie. We just everything I say to make myself look smart, I just stole it from whatever Anne Marie said. That's it. That's our secret.
Anne Marie.
That's your secret. Find you a doctor.
That's your secret to success.
Just repeat whatever people like Anne Marie or Mohammed Noor tell you, because they're the they know stuff.
They're the experts. Yeah.
Oh, another great point. Mr. Homer Frizzell out in New York. He says Picardo and Billingsley, and blanking on Romulan from Picard. I don't know. But Robert Picardo and John Billingsley, who are two doctors in Voyager and Enterprise, they were also in the Orville in an episode together. And the lady that plays Robert Picardo's wife in the series is, I'm blanking on her name, but she plays Eris, the Vorta that we just saw in the last episode we reviewed. Remember the Vorta that was with Cisco and Quark?
That's Robert Picardo's wife?
That is the lady that plays Robert Picardo's wife in the Orville.
Okay.
So that's three Star Trek.
It's like an incestual thing right here.
Yeah, there's 3 Star Trek actors in one episode.
Wow.
That's really cool.
I love seeing that kind of stuff. I remember when I watched The Roots, for the second time kind of as an adult. Mm-hmm. And I realized how many Star Trek actors were in The Roots.
You talking about the movie or the series?
The series that came on television. Yeah.
I never saw the series, but yeah, I've seen the IMDb for it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's starring LeVar Burton, but it's also got like everybody else in it, from Tim Russ to Avery Brooks to Kate Mulgrew. There's just so many people in it that you're thinking, did they just cast everybody from Star Trek from this Roots episode?
I'd be fine with that.
It worked out. Whatever they did, they certainly found a lot of talented people.
Kate Mulgrew was in it. Catherine R. King reminds us. I do remember seeing that in the IMDb. And J.R. Poole reminds us in the Orville, another Star Trek actor, Marina Sirtis. And that was an episode that Jonathan Frakes directed. Big surprise.
Tim Russ, I'm hearing, was also in it.
Tim Russ was in the Orville too. But you know what? I thought that it was kind of too much of a throwaway character for me. I don't think they used him that great because he was only in like a couple scenes. He was like a doctor, scientist that tells him things. And so I expect him to at least kind of be like the co-star of the episode. But he was like only in the first 10 or 15 minutes. He just kind of gives information and tells him stuff and then is gone forever. And I was like, you got to use him a bit. Like they used Marina well. They made her like an important character for an entire episode. They used Bob Picardo well and John Billingsley well. Tim Russ, I feel like he or they could have held out until a juicier role came up. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I wish it always worked like that, where you could just choose when you want to come in. You know what? I'll do the show, but when you have a bigger role for me.
That's true. We don't always have that kind of pull, do we?
We don't always have that kind of pull, but maybe Tim's got it. I don't know.
Still, I'm happy that all of these Star Trek actors are getting tons of work in the Orville. The Orville is really paying homage to them. This is turning into an Orville live show for us. Let's see what else we've got. I mean, we haven't really talked about it, so that's okay. Tony Todd as well. Our buddy John Farella mentions. I don't remember Tony
in the Orville.
Now I do. Yes. Yes, he gave like a really cool speech. He's great with his speeches. That's right.
Now I'm upset I haven't been invited to be on the Orville. Because
maybe you have and you just
like
check
everybody's. I gotta check my email more often. Note to self.
Or maybe who's a part of the writing team? Brandon Braga is there, I believe. Jonathan Frakes is directing. Next time we talk to one of them, just be like, hey.
Brandon Braga is a writer on the Orville?
Guys, remind me, is he? I feel like he is. I feel like he is, but or some kind of consultant. I know there are some Star Trek writers for sure. I'm checking right now, guys. Right now, everybody's yelling the answers at me like I'm an idiot. I'm sure.
How could Ryan not know?
Yeah, Brandon Braga has written 3 episodes. Who else? I don't recognize any of the other writers. There's Cherry with a very long last name, who's one of the writers from Family Guy. But anyway, yeah, and Brandon directed 4 episodes. Jonathan Frakes has directed 2 episodes.
He's a director.
Your buddy Robbie Duncan McNeil has directed 2 episodes as well. Jon Favreau directed 1. He's a Star Wars guy. There's some legit people, man. It's pretty.
Yeah, I can see. I can see.
Yeah. Mark says, Cirroc, you should be Dr. Finn's estranged older son from a previous marriage we don't know about. I love that idea.
I do too.
Dr. Finn is Penny's character.
Okay.
That would be awesome.
Too. I was also thinking about Picard too. I think they need to bring the Defiant back. Roll up on these boards.
A 20-year-old Defiant to just bust some buns. Gucci Shane says he loves us. Thanks very much. And Taurus reminds us Tony Todd played a Mocklin. Yeah, he had this really cool speech, like in a courtroom or something like that. Cirroc, hey, have you been to Pittsburgh? Okay. Do you remember it?
Pittsburgh Steel City? No, I haven't been to Pittsburgh at all, actually. Never been to Pittsburgh.
Would be nice if you all visited when the quarantine is over. Bring Nana with you too. Yeah, just grab the whole gang, Cirroc. Like,
come on down. Come on down. We're going to Pittsburgh. Steel Town.
Uh-oh. He who cast the first stone. Should I even put it up? Should I do it? Paul Brillo says, when is the 7th rule versus the Delta Flyers face-off? That's
who's the Delta Flyers?
Robbie and Garrett's new thing for Voyager. We could do that like when you're watching Sports Center or when you're watching news programs or whatever. Like, yeah, there's like the one news program and then the other, and then at the end they all kind of like come together and like talk for a few minutes. That'd be funny if we did that, like kind of like our free for all, but like the face off, where we're like, Tuvok's better, and you're like, no, Odo's better. And me and Robbie are like,
the podcast face off. That'd be great. We should do a game show.
Anne Marie's calling us out even worse now.
Yeah, the Delta Flyers. I thought it was a hockey team, to be honest with you.
The Philadelphia Flyers.
Yeah, the Delta Flyers. I know about them.
Okay. So we have a few minutes left before we record our show. We shouldn't have even said anything. I knew it. Nageo, I don't know how to pronounce that, says that would be amazing. At least we're starting
the battle. It'd be like a celebrity death match.
What would be, okay, this is what we have to ask you guys out there. What would be a good name for a face-off? Like the Voyager Deep Space Nine face-off. Would it be like some kind of Star Trek term that means a face-off. We'll have to think of something. But Dr. Anne-Marie Siegel, by the way, mentions something very interesting, which is that where we are in reviewing Deep Space Nine, we're now starting season 3 when they're going to be starting season 1, which is air date order, because back in the 90s, in 95, season 3 of Deep Space Nine was going on at the same time as season 1 of Voyager. So our two shows are actually reviewing our two shows in unison with what was airing 25 years ago. How cool is that?
I like that idea. That's pretty good.
Yeah, good job,
you
Anne-Marie.
Put that together, or did you just quote that from Anne-Marie?
It's all Anne-Marie.
Gem.
It's all. I mean, I confirmed it, but I didn't need to. She knew.
She's ahead of the game.
She is. She's really good about that.
She needs to be the head lead on the case.
Oh, that's a good idea. Something with quadrants, because they're out in the Delta Quadrant, and we're either in the Alpha Quadrant or the Gamma Quadrant.
Yeah, the Battle of Delta Alpha 359.
the Delta Gamma face off. The nerd hole. Wait, that doesn't sound good. It's pronounced Neo. It's a silent G. So it's
Delta and Gabbana? No.
Delta and Gabbana? Wow, that's pretty solid, dude.
Thank you. Using my fashion senses.
Federation face-off.
The G is silent.
Mm-hmm.
It's now.
Kat says the Niners versus the Flyers.
Oh yeah,
that's sports. That's sports reference.
Duh.
Because I mean, we like sports, right? So the Niners versus the Flyers. It's different sports. I like that idea. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Niners versus Flyers battling it out.
We'll have to have like a ping pong 2-on-2 ping pong tournament or something.
John said beer pong.
Niners.
Garrett's gonna be like, I'll do it, but there better be beer involved, otherwise no deal.
Some kind of drinking game.
And you wouldn't argue with that, I don't think.
Not too much. I'm not the biggest alcohol guy though.
And Robbie and I would be like, can we make it tennis? Let's make it tennis. That'll be fun. We'll get some sun.
Yeah, I'm not much on the tennis court.
Oh dear. All right. Now it's getting crazy. Associate producer Rex A. Wood says you guys could wear the baseball uniforms and they can wear those racing jumpsuits. And then somebody else can wear the Deanna and Beverly yoga outfit.
Oh gosh, we already know who's doing that. Heather and Kat. We're gonna look forward to it.
Oh no. The Darth Eddie says O'Brien and Bashir playing racquetball. You guys are killing us. Okay. Oh yeah, see, Mark agrees. The referees will be Deanna and Beverly in their yoga stretchies.
Yeah, those are the refs, huh? We should all wear yoga fits.
Meredith trying to go a little too highbrow for us. The cargo bay Frey, because she's a scientist.
Frey. Yes, I kind of like that though.
Rex Wood giving me my cue. So, since we only have a couple minutes left, guys, if you have any final questions for Cirroc, let us know. Give us a question for Cirroc. If there's something you want to know about.
Oh, or for Ryan.
Nah. If they ask me questions, they're going to be like, dude, when are you going to cut your fucking hair, man?
Get some how high are you going to let it get?
You guys don't even know. It's like getting crazy, man. I'm going to look like Wayoon.
Or Ace Ventura. He's got the high one up there.
It's got like a wave.
Wave. Once you get the wave.
People don't have any more. Oh, wait, here we go. What did you think of Cress Williams as Jem Hadar? That was in season 2, final episode. Cirroc and you and I just reviewed that one. That was I believe that was the Jem Hadar that was kind of like the featured one that we saw. And you actually were complimenting him in that review, right?
I thought he did a great job. Yeah, I liked his performance. I thought he was really formidable. I liked the way he was talking to people as if, he had no fear, and he represented the Jem Hadar well as far as setting the precedents for what to expect from them and the seriousness with which to take them. So I thought that Cress did a great job, and surprised didn't see more of him going down the line. Maybe we will. I haven't gotten there yet, but I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, guys.
And he matched well against Avery. Yeah.
The episode this weekend that we're going to release is that one that we're talking about right now. So JR Poole, check out the episode that we release on Sunday. We will be talking about him and his performance. And Cirroc had Cirroc was pretty pleased with what he saw, because it's never easy to be the very first of a race. You don't have anything to work with. You can't watch a previous actor playing that race. You have to create the race just based on what the writers tell you. It's not easy. Katie Carr has a question for you. She says, Cirroc, if you could guest in any Star Trek show, Next Generation, Voyager, original series, what would it be and why?
Picard. Picard. Is that what I heard?
That's just my guess as to what you would say, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being on Picard. I think it would be a cool little way you could weave that story together somehow. But out of the other shows that have kind of, not to jump on one of the current shows, but to talk about one of the other shows that have been on, I actually wouldn't mind being on The Next Generation. I felt like I knew those people really well, and they were welcoming to us when we first started doing DS9, and
right.
They went out of their way to kind of make friends. And I thought that was very generous of them at the time, and still to this day, we still have those kind of bonds. So I wouldn't mind being on The Next Generation. I don't know in what capacity, I would play an alien or just be myself, but it would be fun.
Sounds very gracious of them. Viance Chevalier says, not Picard, with a little tonguey, emoji thing. The reason I didn't bring that up is just because I want to see John D. Brewer's question. Cirroc, what is your weirdest encounter with a fan at a convention? You can pass one question, by the way, because I know some of these can get pretty complicated.
No, I mean, weirdest encounter was, my first convention, and that was in Pasadena, and I was signing autographs outside. For some reason, they set up my signing table on the outside. And it was a nice day, so it wasn't like I'm in the pouring rain. But
Grand Slam? Was it the old Grand Slams?
Yeah, I think it's the old Grand Slam in Pasadena, yeah. And it was my first convention. There was a line of people to see me. I had no idea what to expect going into it. And so I was signing outside. And eventually the sun went down. The convention was over, and it was after hours. And it was literally starting to sign in the dark. And at some point I was like, I'm done, right? I'm not going to stay here till midnight. So I, they started to say, okay, Cirroc, we're going to wrap it up for you. We're going to cut the line. And they cut the line right at somebody who really wanted to, get an autograph and had waited a long time. So I felt bad about those people where the line got cut off. Mm-hmm. But, it was clearly like there was, I was way over my limit as far as time wise. And the guy that they cut the line at was so upset about it cutting right at him. And he lunged forward at me to kind of like, I guess, strangle me.
Give you kisses.
Yeah, so that was the weirdest encounter because I had my first convention, and here I am about to get attacked by a mob of people. So I got a little nervous. They rushed me out of there, and I got away. But that was my first convention and my weirdest encounter.
Wow. And so then 20 years later, you went to your second convention. You're like, I'm never doing it. Forget it. No deal.
And I never stay at my table long enough to actually have a line. So that's my way of.
That's true. That is a true statement. Eve England out in Wales, where it is currently 10:16 p.m., or as they like to say, 22:16. She says, it was a shame that Picard didn't reference what happened after the Dominion War. They should go back to that and bring more DS9 crew into the mix. They might. They might still. They have a couple more seasons.
Yeah. And that's what I thought. That's why actually, we're about to get into reviewing this episode, and I don't want to spoil anything. But when they first announced the Defiant as the ship for DS9, they actually give a little bit of explanation to where it came from and why they have it. And the reason for the creation of the Defiant itself was to fight and defeat the Borg. And I thought that was interesting that the Defiant was actually made to go up against the Borg. And now eventually we're going to see in Picard the Borg become, I think, a formidable threat in the show. So I just thought maybe there's a way to interweave that into the story, perhaps. We'll see.
Anne-Marie, by the way, says that she wants to tell Cirroc how beautiful and sparkling his eyes look today.
Yeah, right. Yes,
I second that.
Properly sparkled.
I've been blinded.
Eyes. Thank you.
Cat Carr
I've just probably been too much in the sun.
Look at them not mentioning Beverly or not mentioning Janeway was shameful. She was basically a mother figure to Seven. Kind of sad. Yeah, well, they may. Remember, Janeway 7 of 9 is now part of the crew. So season 1 doesn't end Janeway or 7 of 9 story. So Janeway can still be mentioned, and she could very well even show up. She might not even just be mentioned next season. She might actually be an admiral in season 2 of Picard. So I think all the missed opportunities should hold on for a couple more seasons, and then we'll see what opportunities were missed and which ones were not.
Yeah.
That's what I
mean, they still had the task of giving us all the old Next Generation characters and bringing them back one by one.
LeVar says we're going to see them all, and I believe it. We're going to see Beverly. We're going to see Geordi. We're going to see Captain Worf. I think we're going to see Guinan. That's actually confirmed. Whoopi.
Really?
Yes, sir. Patrick Stewart went on The View and personally asked Whoopi to join, and she was very clearly taken aback and very happy to say yes on the air. So that was really a great moment there. I think we're going to see Janeway. If I had to guess, I think we're going to see Janeway. I think we might even see Bob Picardo. Like, we might see him as Louis Zimmerman, who is the creator of the Emergency Medical Holographic Doctor. I think we're going to see just as many as we did in the first season of our favorites, 5 or 6, That's what I think. Just a guess, but I think it would be awesome. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Lane Fraser says Janeway is the best captain ever. Well, I mean, except for like Picard and Sisko and Archer. I was so happy when they cast Scott Bakula to play Archer back when they were going to start Enterprise, because I was already a pretty big fan of Quantum Leap. So, and when they said that they're going to go back before the original series, I was like, that's perfect because he has just the right amount of cheesiness factor to fit in with that original series, previous to that kind of timeline. So I was happy about that because he's a little cheesy, I think. Love the dude.
He's cheesy, but he's actually been a real genuine and a fun guy to be around so far at different conventions that I've met him at.
Really?
Yeah, he's seems like a pleasant guy. He's approachable, and he's real kind of down to earth about his celebrity status. So I like Mr. Scott Bakula, and I also was a fan of his on Quantum Leap as well.
Really?
So.
Cool. Me too.
Yeah.
All the reports from the people on set have also said that Scott was really nice on set. There's one story that sticks with me, and I don't remember who it was that said it. But it was one of the lead actors said that on one of the first days, Scott just kind of held things up for a second and fixed the other actor's hair for him. He was just like, it doesn't look good. And he fixed it, that tiny little attention to detail to make sure that the other actor looked perfect, little things like that. Just make you like a guy a little bit more,
Yeah. I mean, it just means that, he's not stuck up on a high horse or thinking that he's better than everybody. That's usually a sign of a jerk. And he hasn't shown any of those signs.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, thanks very much for joining us, Buddy. We do want to say thank you once again to the good people that did the USS Eisenberg. I think that's really cool. So check that out, A Planetary Step, an Orville fan series. Shout out to all of you that joined us. Check out Mohammed Noor, Dr. Mohammed Noor on YouTube. And shout out to Melissa Longo that we see here and everybody. And John Crandall showing up at the very end, a little too late. He says, Jeffrey Combs praised Scott Bakula. Got choked up talking about how nice he was. Said hello and goodbye to everyone on the crew each day. That is just the sweetest thing. Love that guy.
I mean, Scott's a great guy. And I have nothing bad to say about him the few times that I've been around him. And I see the same thing that Mr. Don Crandall's talking about.
We'd love to have him on the show, but too bad he's so busy working. He's a working actor, but we'll see. I'd love to have him.
Yeah, and congratulations, more power to him doing his thing on CSI.
Kathy D, as we go, she says a little Picard accent to cap off the show, Ryan. How about this? I will tell you, stay tuned. Our friend Scott Baker has a secret surprise. He's the writer, producer, director of Fifth Passenger with 10 Star Trek actors in it. He has a secret surprise that is relevant to that Picard accent. And I am also relevant to that Picard accent in this special gift that we will present to you guys in a matter of days. So stay tuned for Ryan's Picard accent in a...
Oh, wow. Wow, I'm excited. You've just teased me on that one. I can't wait. I can't wait. My mind is racing. I'm thinking of an animated series with you, Ryan, as the Picard. I mean, this thing is going to be big. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, you're good at this. All right, well, we better go.
Beverly.
All right, we've given away too much. All right. Thanks very much, everybody. We'll see you on Sunday morning for the next episode, which will be the final episode of season 2, and a lot of big things are coming. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media things, and we'll talk to you all very soon. Thanks very much, guys. Always remember,
stay healthy, stay safe, and thank you, everybody, for supporting us and listening in and tuning in. We really appreciate you guys. Stay healthy, stay safe. We'll get out of this together.
Pretty soon. Kind of.
Pretty soon, I think.
Always remember the 7th rule, friends.